Hello everyone and welcome to game 2 in a series between Nerchio versus Polt here on Cloud Kingdom. Game 1, a real back and forth game, so I'm really looking forward to game 2 in this series, as Polt spawning as the blue Terran player on the top right hand side of the map, meanwhile Nerchio spawning on the bottom left hand side of the map as the red Zerg. Zerg versus Terran once more. I'd be more than astounded and amazed if these players did change from their races, and we'll see how things change on a map like Cloud Kingdom. Unlike Antigua Shipyard, the map is a little bit smaller, but because there are a lot more ramps, it is a little bit more difficult to get proper flanks. However, it is easy for Zerg to establish up a lot of expansions, as two expansions is easy down here and over here, as there was only no destructible rocks connecting these two bases, and the creep tumors should be fairly easy to establish. We'll see what Polt will be trying to go for, but I believe the last game he did go for a gasless opening into a command center, and then started using reactor hellions that way. Nerchio surprisingly also did not go for a spine crawler in game 1. Perhaps he didn't expect that there would be reactor hellions, as his opponent did fast expand, and we'll see what exactly will happen here as the game does continue. One drone already making its way out. It looks like it should be, yes it will be, a hatchery being placed down. Nerchio opting to not scout his opponent just quite yet, getting up that earlier hatchery, and now should be able to get up a strong economy. Now Nerchio will be playing in the dark since he is not scouting his opponent, and meanwhile Polt, all he needs to do is just scout this front door here and figure out if a hatchery has been placed down. Nerchio does not know that his opponent is currently gasless, but we are already going into a spawning pool. No extractor yet, so Nerchio may be a little bit more defensive, trying to harvest more minerals and not trying to tech nearly as quickly. SCB looks like it will start building up a command center, or sorry, down over here in just a moment. Yes, there is that command center now. One Marine has been trained, another Marine may be trained up, as well as an orbital command will be completed in just a second. Polt has to be careful here. He needs to start up another supply depot, otherwise he will end up being supply blocked. Nope, he is instead going into double reactors and not training up any more Marines, so leaving one lone Marine to try to fend this off. And there is that second supply depot. Now it is going to cut into his SCV production, as you saw just now, as I forgot to set my there we go, set to busy. Alright, so let's go ahead and get back into this. Sorry about that for all you guys, but you guys say I should always respond, so yep. Unfortunately, I cannot type and talk at the same time, especially if it is different words. I guess my brain is just simply not wired like that. Anyways, command center is down over here. You can see that there is another orbital command up here. We should be seeing an upgrade to an orbital command in just a moment, but both of these players playing rather slow. Nerchio does have, I believe, a slight harvester advantage, but with that mule in play, Polt should be able to take the income advantage rather easily. A bunker is now being placed down. Zergling's going to try to test this, and now the Zergling's going straight after the bunker. The bunker is taking a lot more damage than it is getting, and there it is cancelled, and Polt deciding to rebuild it once more. 3 Marines up against 4 Zerglings. That is enough Marines, I believe, to win out in that Zergling battle, as the Marines two-shot a Zergling in order to take it down. Now we'll see what will be happening next. 3 Marines inside a bunker. We should be getting up a 4th Marine here in just a moment. We are getting up some more supply depots, and Polt is transitioning into that reactor hellion play. He does have double gas right now, which is curious, as he cannot train one gas unit at all. Polt may be trying to go for that, perhaps that 13 double, or that 13-minute 2-2, I believe. 2-2 upgrades on Marines and Marauders. You can see that the Tech Lab already down. Most likely Combat Shield and Stim will be started in just a moment, as Polt already getting up to 3 barracks and still training up more Hellions. The Hellion's going to be doing a little bit of cleanup. And are we going to get a spine crawler here from Nerchio? Nerchio not favoring a spine crawler on his ramp, as he already is establishing up his 3rd base. Overlord in a very nice position, making sure to gain sight off over here. You can see Zerglings are wandering around through this mineral line. One Zergling already down, a second Zergling and a third Zergling have been destroyed as the Hellions, quickly taking a look. Did they spot the expansion? Yes, they did. So the expansion has been spotted, and now you can see the Queen getting into a little bit more damage than she would like. The Hellions do have a targeting range of 5, and I believe a splash range of 6. Nerchio now in a bit of trouble. That Queen down to 58 hit points, is very, very low on hit points, down to 38. Has to be careful just as the roaches do arrive in time. Hellions backing off once more, going to run back around the corner. We are getting some more supply depots here. Curious positioning on the supply depots, as one or a group of banelings right there could destroy 3 supply depots. A lot of damage dealt, and now roaches making their way over. Roaches looking to perhaps protect those drones from any sort of Hellion harassment. The Hellions currently 6 in play. We are going into that double engineering bay once more. There we go. Double engineering bay, level 1 weapons and armor upgrades now being started, and we should be starting an armory off in about a minute and a half. Roaches pushing back these Hellions once more, as both players now in that transition phase. I believe Polt will be building up an orbital command, perhaps somewhere in here, to land off there, as the Hellions are now just simply returning back home. Armies are fairly even. Let's take a look at the production, or the units. 62 versus 43, a very large advantage for Polt, as he is going for that 3rd command center here at what I will over here, just so we could land it and establish this expansion. Now the question will be if Nerchio is going to set up a proxy, not a proxy hatch, a macro hatch, and there is the macro hatch already. It should give him enough larvae to really produce a lot more units. A new additional queen may be necessary in order to keep up with the production. But Nerchio running off of 4 hatcheries on 3 bases with 62 drones should have close to about a 2,400 income, if he's 1,800 income, plus the additional gas as well. So more gas could still be established from here. Actually, you could get up to 2,400, as roaches are now chasing away these Hellions. One Overlord here. Combat shield still has not been researched. Level 1 weapons and armor upgrade about to be completed. Armory already being added, so the armory will allow for these 1-1 upgrades to be started sometime around perhaps the 11-minute mark. And at the 11-minute mark, I believe it only takes 100 and I'm not quite sure how many seconds it takes. Maybe 110, 120 seconds in order to get level 2 weapons upgrade. We'll see what's going to be happening here. Level 2 is 190 seconds, so 160, 190, 220. As we now are going to see Marines simply try to stim in and focus down all of these units. The Marines are upgraded 1-1, going up against 0-0 upgraded roaches. The Marines having a very, very difficult time, as the roaches are able to just get in a lot of damage. Combat shield was not completed, and that is probably the problem. Polt not realizing that combat shield not done. All of the Marines would have had 10 additional hit points. 10 additional hit points goes a long way, as I believe the roaches needed an additional attack in order to take it down. An additional attack in order to take it down, and that was absolutely huge. 45 damage, 3 attacks versus 4 attacks, a critical upgrade there, a critical mistake. All of these Marines perhaps would have been able to actually get through this roach line and destroy a lot more units. It would have given Nerchio a little bit more time to react and respond though, but no way of really knowing, as the Marines now push over and defend the 3rd. Let's take a look at the harvester count. 74 versus 58. Polt is currently a little bit behind, as we are now going into infestors. The infestors should be able to handle Polt's Marines very, very easily. But we have, in fact, some siege tanks now, and those siege tanks should be able to take down those infestors in just 2 hits. Roaches now trying to test the waters, quickly getting pushed back as those roaches get shelled away by 1 siege tank. Marines now a little bit too far forward, now need to back off. Polt with only 1 siege tank needs to consider his options, as the 2-2 upgrades need about another, I would say, a minute to complete. 40 real seconds, as we are now going into 1 dead Hellion here. Oh, a hatchery was built actually in the wrong location, and Nerchio canceled it and rebuilt it. Very, very smart call, as you always want your drones to be highly efficient when mining. And Zerglings and Roaches are now just going to simply sit outside the front door, but this is going to give time for Polt to really macro up. You can see the heavy number of barracks and marines being trained, and we are also going into a heavy factory production, I believe. I thought I saw 2 additional factories being built, but right here and right here, so more factories being built as well. And with that, the siege tank number should rise very quickly, perhaps getting into the 200 food count sometime around, I would say, the 17-minute mark. Now, Nerchio is sitting on a large amount of minerals and gas. He is going into double spire now. So double spire has the benefit of additional upgrades, but will he be able to actually get that off? Perhaps getting the level 1 weapons upgrade in addition to getting up a greater spire, and hoping that the Broodlords and the Broodlings would be able to deal enough damage to the Marines before the Marines get within combat range. A new command center now being established here at the 12 o'clock position. Zerglings have already taken on indestructible rocks here, so it's going to be very easy for the Zerglings to just simply flood this portion of the map. Polt also doing his job, taking on indestructible rocks, as we are now going into 3-3 upgrades. 3-3 upgrades, which will be ready in about, I'd say, 3.5 minutes, and we might have 3-3 upgrades in just, or well before the 20-minute mark. Supply depot is going to go down. 2 upgrades on those Zerglings. Greater Spire now being added. The second Spire also being added as well. 10 Corruptors already in the air. No weapons upgrade on those Broodlings yet, so a little bit surprised by that. And if there is no upgrades, or no upgrades being started, the Broodlords and those Broodling combinations are not going to deal nearly as much damage. 6 Infestors now looking to come in. Here we go. There is some units there. 1 poor Zergling does get taken out, and we'll see what's going to be happening next. A siege tank did get right within combat range, and now the Roaches are going to start to get shelled. Here we go. Roaches going straight inside the mineral line, and Nerchio perhaps is trying to free up some food and getting some easy splash damage here. There is 1 burrowed Zergling hiding underneath Polt's command center. Marines going to make their way over. And now 4 Infestors may be able to get off 1 fungal growth to finish off all those units. No decides against it, but we are very even on food in terms of supply, as the siege tanks now make their way down to the low ground. 3-3 upgrades now being started. 6 Broodlords now being added. 4 Vikings. Level 2 weapon upgrades, as the Zerglings have somehow run past the front door and now running rapid inside the 3rd base here. Zerglings now going to try to make their way up. You can see that Nerchio still has a good number of Zerglings, but it will quickly get scanner sweeped and taken out. Polt up to 200 food. Nerchio seeing that 176 over 200. We are getting some Corruptors. We are getting some Broodlords as well. And is it going to be enough is the question. Where are those Broodlords? Broodlords are here. The Broodlords are not upgraded. And not quite sure why Nerchio got double Spire if he is not going for double upgrades. The Broodlords are already out. Upgrades could be coming in. And here we go. It looks as though the Broodlords are ready to strike. And now the Planetary Fortress is going to rack up those kills, as they're going to take down multiple Zerglings. There's a fungal growth across multiple Marines. Beautifully played. And this 1 Planetary Fortress should get destroyed. No, the SCVs are coming over to try to save it. SCVs trying to come back over. Once again, there is a Thor now being added. And now are we going to perhaps get some Infested Terrans? Yes, Infested Terrans joining in on the fight. Corruptors joining in. But there is not enough Infested Terrans and Fungals to really deal with the number of units here. The Infestors don't have enough for a fungal growth. If they did, perhaps they would have been able to take down some Marines, as Nerchio now once again taking a beating and hoping to keep these Broodlords alive. Down to 176, 174, 170, 180. But that is retraining those units, as those Vikings are now making their way across the map. 6 more Infestors now coming in, or sorry, 6 more Broodlords now trying to come in. 1 Broodlord already operational, but it doesn't look good for Nerchio. Nerchio losing these Broodlord cocoons, and there you go. Acer's Nerchio saying GG, and not quite sure how he's losing these games to TSL's Polt. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 2 in this series.